Hey guys, it's Tyler with a breakdown of Melvin Ingram's triumphant return to the starting lineup. It's safe to say that the Chargers did miss him along this defensive line. Not saying that Uchenna Nwosu is not good or has not been playing well, but this Chargers front does better when Ingram is on the field. I didn't expect him to play 43 snaps this game, that's for sure. I expected him on more of a snap count, although he says, there's no snap count for Melvin Ingram, so that's fine. I have 5 of his snaps here, just 5, and they're all pass rushing snaps. And I wanted to point out just what makes Ingram so effective, what makes him so special. And it's a combination of things. It's a combination of pass rush moves. It's a combination of athleticism, veteran savvy, and particularly heart, in my opinion, stands out in this film. And I'll show you that on the very last play, so hang in there. Now, this first one is on 3rd and 4, and he's going to execute a spin move. If you want to make this work, you have to threaten inside or outside first. Now, part of what makes Ingram so amazing, in my opinion, is that they can move him anywhere. Right? This is something that they would like to do with Ingram, Nwosu, and Bosa. Let Bosa and Nwosu pass rush from the outside. Ingram, have fun on the inside. Because there's not really a guard in the NFL who can consistently, maybe, okay, Quentin Nelson maybe, that can consistently take on Melvin Ingram one-on-one. Let's watch that play one more time. A couple of things here I like. One, like I referenced, fake the inside, seal him with your backside arm. Now, the interesting thing here, I don't know if he practices this. I don't see this very often, and I imagine this is very hard to execute, but he grabs a hold of the lineman's jersey here, or the shirt under the jersey, right, and gets him off balance. Does Ingram really need to do this? Did he do it on purpose? I'm not sure. But not only does he beat the lineman, but it's difficult for the lineman to recover, right? And lineman had no chance anyway. This poor guard, by the way. The guards get destroyed in this game by Ingram. But in particular, this play, he had no chance anyway. But the fact that Ingram grabs his jersey and kind of forces him down and out of, off balance, it's pretty interesting. Let's watch it one more time all the way through. Fake inside, backside arm to seal it off. Grabs the jersey, tug. Pressure. Love it. Piece of cake. The next one's on 3rd and 12. Here, Ingram just sells rushing the outside so hard. Now, when you want to rush even if you want to do bull rush somebody, you want to try and rush half the human being. You don't want to rush, right into the center of this human being. Let's watch the full play. Again, they can line up Ingram wherever, inside, outside, move him around, have fun. I feel bad for this guard. Like, Ingram again? So he really gets him to commit to the outside. The lineman is mostly ready, and it does take a while for this to, for Ingram to show that he's committing, even though he isn't. It's a hard step right here that gets him to finally commit. And Ingram knows once he's committed, this is an outside rush. If you pause this and tell me what happens here, I'd say, well, Ingram probably just continues this way and rushes him from the outside. But that's where Ingram's got him. And just embarrasses the lineman. Now, look, I don't know how flexible Ben Barch is. Perhaps he's been working on his bar ballet or his gymnastics or whatever. But I'd imagine it's very difficult to do a full left leg splits when you weigh 300 pounds and you're 6 foot whatever. If he showed up on the injury report this week, I wouldn't be surprised. Check for the groin injuries or something not disclosed, like a ball split, perhaps. Like I said on Twitter, I've heard of a split sack before by defensive linemen. I'd have never heard of defensive linemen actually splitting somebody's sack before. As someone who did gymnastics and coached gymnastics, I can appreciate how difficult a split is. So going from, I wouldn't call that stable, but going from a squat to a full split, that's got to be painful. And I feel bad for him. So I feel bad for the guard. Again, 2 plays in a row, just getting embarrassed. But, that's Ingram. He embarrasses a lot of people. Now this one, guys, nothing happens here. In fact, Minshew makes a good play in between, throws a great ball in between Jenkins and Adderley and gets a first down. And if you want to watch how atrocious the secondary was during this game, you can actually watch Alex's breakdown on Patreon. Nothing happens here. Ingram doesn't really impact the play. He doesn't make a play. He doesn't knock a ball down. He doesn't get a sack, a pressure, whatever. But I want to point this out for a couple of reasons. I'll explain why after I show you. That's it. Gets his hands up. That's it. First, okay, I have to point something out real fast. Look where Minshew's looking. Right? Look where the ball goes. It's pretty good. Anyway, what I like about this, look, does Ingram impact this play at all? No. But is he trying to? Yes. And it pays off. It really pays off for Ingram. You watch him against the Chiefs. I believe 3 games in a row, he's had a pass defended. You look at the interception against the Vikings last year. But why I like this so much, aside from it just being great for the defense and great for Ingram, is that Uchenna Nwosu is doing the same thing. Nwosu had to step up this year, A, because of the contract that, Ingram might not be here next year, B, because he should in his 3rd year in the league, and C, because Ingram got hurt. He had to step up. And you saw a lot of development from Nwosu, and I highlighted this in my breakdown a couple of weeks ago. But this is cool because Ingram is a guy who's been working on getting his hands up to disrupt the pass. If you watch Nwosu against the Buccaneers, Tom Brady throws a pass to the left and Nwosu gets his hands up and knocks it down. It's really cool that he's starting to mimic some of the things that Melvin Ingram does. So not only is this great for the defense, but it's great for the next generation after Ingram. Who knows, who sticks around next year. But if Ingram goes, Nwosu is starting to, look like Ingram. Although I do think Ingram, just based on this game alone and some of the other games this year, is still the better defender. But we'll see. So that's it. Gets his hands up. But I love it. Okay, now this play, I'll just simplify it. Low man wins, right? Ingram is 6'2". Cam Robinson is 6'6". Fortunately, I don't play in the NFL because I'm neither of those things. But it's very simple. This is 1st and 9 at the Chargers 9. Low man wins. Ingram's athleticism always just amazes me. He's a guy, I think Bosa's more the technician, but Ingram, man, he just pops so much on tape purely for athleticism alone. Even though you saw, a great spin move, in 2 plays ago, he's got all this in his, his arsenal. But at the end of the day, he can just beat you because he's stronger. He'll out physical you, right? And again, low man wins. Piece of cake. Yeah, I know there's more to it than that, but just wanted to point that out. Okay, this play might be my favorite play. Again, Ingram doesn't get a sack here. I think they consider it a pressure here, but well, let's watch it first. Okay, it's hustle. And there's a lot of guys. Honestly, this defense is full of a lot of guys who do hustle quite a bit. Joey Bosa, I don't think anybody works harder than Joey Bosa on or off the field or after practice, if you will. You saw him practicing for 20 minutes by himself after getting, hundreds of millions of dollars to play football. He's still out there by himself, working hard. Kenneth Murray, a guy who's ascending as a rookie, who had, I believe, his highest grade. Look, I don't care about Pro Football Focus grades, but he did have his highest graded game in this game. And you're starting to see him get better and more used to the NFL because he hustles. This is something that Uchenna Nwosu did so well, even coming out of college in the preseason. He hustled. That was the first thing I noticed about Nwosu, at least in terms of the preseason games. He hustles, tackling guys, 15 yards downfield. He has no business having to do that. Let the defensive backs do it. No, he's a hustler. I love that. That's what I love about this defense when it's good. But Ingram, hustle. Look how fast he is. Ingram's a freak. Okay, but here's why the play is so impressive. Not just the hustle, right? We'll watch the play from this angle first. Okay, you're about to have this receiver cross in front of, I believe, Nasir Adderley. My eyes are bad. I apologize. And, if it's Patrick Mahomes, could be a touchdown, right? Minshew is in a spot where he could make this throw. Is it a tough throw? Oh, yeah. Is this a touchdown from Mahomes to Tyreek Hill? Probably. Right? But look at Ingram. Nope, not going to let you. 4th down. I love it. I'll show you all the way through. Again, Ingram doesn't win the rep, but he hustles and means you make that throw instead of a throw that could have. I don't recall what the score was at this point in the game, but that's potentially a touchdown in my opinion, especially if you're a guy like Mahomes or obviously Tyreek Hill, right? But Ingram, nope, not gonna let you. I'm gonna hustle. I'll use my athleticism. I didn't win my rep, but you know what? I can do this. 4th down. I love it. So Ingram finished with the game with 8 pressures on just 29 pass rush snaps, which means he was disrupting the play, almost every 4 plays. I like Nwosu. He's coming along so well. But I just don't see how you can let Ingram walk next season. I'm not saying because, Nwosu can't replace Ingram. I do think Nwosu is getting there. And he's been pretty consistent. Even though this game Nwosu didn't have many snaps, he impacted the game quite a bit. I just don't see how you can get rid of him. Get rid of Ingram, because of the tandem that they have. Nwosu, I don't think he just has that level of play yet. But I think he will with time. But he's also not really the captain that Ingram is yet. It's gonna be a really tough choice. But I'd rather Ingram stick around, have a great 4-man rush. Have your Bosa, Ingram, Nwosu, and probably Linval Joseph, I guess, or Jerry Tillery if he ever figures out how to be a pass rusher again. I'd rather they spend that, the early picks on corners and offensive linemen and spend a little bit to keep Ingram around because, the team clearly loves him. The fans love him. He's the captain of the team. And based on this film here and the stuff that I didn't show, he plays no snaps for 3 weeks or whatever, comes back and gets 8 pressures on 29 pass rush snaps. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I get it. Yeah, it's the Jaguars. It's Gardner Minshew. But he's just a phenomenal player, a phenomenal person, great member of the team. And I truly do advocate for him to come back next season, even if they're overpaying him. The Chargers do overpay for veterans sometimes. Brandon Meebane stuck around for 3 more years than he should have. But Ingram still has juice. I know he's been injured the last 2 years, but it's 3-4 game stretches or whatever it was the last 2 years. If he finishes healthy, and puts up good numbers and contributes. I mean, this defense had 30 something pressures this game, and part of that is because Ingram returned. It's not that they just took Ingram, they didn't just take Nwosu out and put Ingram in. Well, they kind of did. But they used all of them. And because of that, this defensive line was so good. This is the strength of, the defense right now. The secondary is struggling, but this defensive line is amazing. And if the secondary struggles the rest of the year, you really have to consider keeping Ingram around because, you got to spend those picks on corners, I guess, or even safeties, Jenkins and Adderley. Well, I'll let you watch Alex's breakdown of those guys. Either way, Ingram, fantastic this game, whether it's this play, he's doing a spin move, this play where he's just selling him hard and forcing him to do a drop split, this play, just getting your hands up and trying to be a good leader, teaching the other guys, how to be a good and complete player, being the low man, winning here, and finally just hustling and preventing the big play from happening. All these things make Ingram an amazing player. So that's it for me. Later this week, Steven and I will be discussing, we'll have our weekly breakdown of the offensive line, which was much better this week, thankfully. Stay tuned and bolt up.